Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel. This is The Uplift. We got a great show for you, a great cast of characters as well. Among them, these, a tall man, even loftier goals. He tried playing basketball. That wasn't his passion. What was his dream? Steve Hartman will tell us. Also, a group in Altadena, California, making sure that the trees burned in the wildfires earlier this year get a second life as they rebuild that community. Also, a group of dads seeking perfection. They drive around Northern California on a mission. What are they looking for? We'll tell you. Also, an update on Trooper the dog. He made headlines last year when he was rescued during Hurricane Milton. Now his name is being used to help other dogs. And we remember Gayle Noble, the California woman who lived up to her name by spreading kindness. All that and more heartwarming news. You know what you're watching, The Uplift. Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel. This is The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, you and me as well. And we begin with a tall man who set his goals even higher. Here's Steve Hartman.
I'm gonna be taller than you.
Either I got left in the dryer too long, or that guy is big.
So you grew 7 inches in 1 year.
One summer.
One summer.
One summer.
At 7'3", 24-year-old Jordan Wilmore has always had lofty goals that he kept mostly to himself.
It was hard for me to share like my dreams or, the stuff I wanted to do growing up because it was, you just got to focus on basketball because it can make you millions.
And so for years, he did focus on basketball. Played in college and the pros overseas, just like friends and family had always insisted.
Ever since he first hit his head on a door jamb, people have been telling Jordan he should play professional basketball. But other people can't dictate your dreams. And basketball was never his passion.
I mean, I've always liked to help other people. That's just who I am. I just will do anything to help out whoever I can. There was nothing really else I wanted to do.
Which is why Jordan is now almost certainly America's tallest police recruit. Once he graduates, he'll go to work in Kemah, Texas, where Chief Raymond Garavay is already preparing for his arrival.
Hopefully it fits.
Scouring the country for a uniform big enough and a cruiser that won't crush him.
Knees are touching the dash. It's very, very tight.
But Chief Garavay says he's willing to make any accommodation necessary for an officer this dedicated.
If you got a phone call tomorrow, the NBA, $1 million, or stay here and be a cop in Texas.
Stay here.
You want to think about it?
No, I'll stay here.
He wants to serve. He truly wants to make a difference. I'm proud that he chose the thin blue line. I am.
Devotion to community. It makes you stand tall, no matter what your height. Steve Hartman, on the road in Kemah, Texas.
Coming up, remember this dog? We've been following his story for almost exactly a year. He made headlines when he was rescued during Hurricane Milton, and now he's got a greater purpose, making sure other dogs are kept safe too. Plus, how a group near LA is using trees destroyed in this year's wildfires to revive and rebuild community. Stay with us. You're watching a group at EF Academy, that's in Pasadena, California. They're singing in honor of Jane Goodall, the pioneering animal scientist who died on October 1st. Goodall had been scheduled for a talk and a ceremonial tree planting at that school, and they decided to hold the ceremony anyway, which kicked off the school's mission to replant 5,000 trees that were lost in the January fire. LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger said while their hearts were heavy, she was proud to see students still gather to plant their first tree in Goodall's honor. They turned that ceremony into a memorial and as a way of carrying on her legacy, and it worked. All right, for almost exactly 1 year, we have followed the story of Trooper the dog. If you need a reminder, Trooper was the one abandoned in Florida ahead of Hurricane Milton. But as the storm rolled in, he was rescued in just the nick of time by a state trooper, hence the name Trooper the dog. Well, now there is Trooper's Law, as Steve Mugeri from CBS News Miami explains.
All right, I love you too. All right, hold on 1 second.
Frank Spina can't keep his new dog Trooper off of him.
Trooper has come a long way since Florida Highway Patrol found the bull terrier tied to a pole along I-75 during Hurricane Milton last year. That video went viral.
From abandoned to adored.
And the story made it on CBS this morning. Spina says Trooper still has some trauma from that storm.
He still has a little bit of PTSD, I would say. He reacts when he hears certain noises. He really reacts, jumps into the air. He's frightened by it. And certain things will actually scare him, but they're becoming less and less.
Spina says after he saw that video, he knew he had to adopt Trooper, but he found out he wasn't the only person that had seen that video. So he says once he applied to adopt him, he found out that he was one of about 400 other people that wanted him.
We're going to be best friends.
But once Spina first met him, he knew Trooper had made his choice.
Amy, who from the Humane Society, said to my wife, "Your husband has just cast a spell on him."
Spina says Trooper needed medical treatment. He says Trooper had cancer and says doctors found trash in his stomach.
Metal, aluminum, bolts, plastic, rubber, material, and it was all kind of in one big ball.
Trooper's old owner was arrested and charged with aggravated animal cruelty. Moving forward, anyone who restrains and abandons an animal in a natural disaster in Florida could face third-degree felony charges as part of the new Troopers Law. That law took effect this week.
Do I think that a person who's about to abuse a dog will say, well, I better not do this because of Troopers Law passed? No, I think that person will abuse a dog because that's in their character to do that. The good news is that now he's going to jail.
Trooper's name is fitting since he survived the storm. It's also a title since he was given a badge by Highway Patrol, making him Trooper. Steve Majiri, CBS News, Miami.
Last January, wildfires ravaged parts of Southern California, hitting the town of Altadena particularly hard. The fires destroyed thousands of homes and even more trees in the process. Now those trees are getting a second life as people help to rebuild the area. Here's Carter Evans with the story.
On that deadly January night, when the firestorm tore through Altadena, burning thousands of homes and businesses, it changed the landscape here forever. Many of the towering trees that sheltered this community did not survive.
She's quite damaged.
Including Andrea and Brian Mark's beloved live oak.
Oh, our Annie Oakley. So one of the reasons that Brian and I bought this house was this tree.
The decision to finally cut it down was devastating.
She meant so much to us in terms of what this house represented.
It's a feeling a lot of people can relate to.
The trees that you see every day are almost like a member of the family.
Exactly. We're getting a lot of feedback from people saying, I can't let this tree just get mulched. It means too much to me.
At Angel City Lumber, founder Jeff Perry says hundreds of calls came in from residents who wanted their trees to have a second life.
And this is an Altadena tree.
This is an Altadena tree here. This is another Coast live oak.
So many that he ran out of space at his sawmill and had to stack them at an Altadena golf course, a tree bank where they'll be turned into lumber for rebuilding this community. But when it comes to those treasured trees, like Andrea Mark's live oak.
Have you thought about the possibilities that could come from this tree that you love so much?
I think the possibilities are endless. It could be a table, it could be a lamp. I haven't really let myself yet go there.
You've got people's lives stacked up in storage right now.
It's a very big responsibility. And
he's helping this community heal by preserving the past.
She was the past and the present, and now she's giving me the future.
As a new legacy takes root. Carter Evans, CBS News, Altadena, California.
Coming up, meet the man who traveled all the way from Kentucky to Scotland to compete at his chosen sport and became a whistleblower to make it more fair. Plus, David Begnaud remembers Gayle Noble, a woman known in her community for spreading kindness. He met Noble last year, and after returning to her town when she died, he saw her legacy. It is still thriving. We take you now to a sporting event in Scotland where a competitor from Kentucky became a whistleblower to make the competition more fair. What event did this hero help save? Here's Dave Malkoff with the answer.
The plate number 264 from Louisville, Kentucky.
This rock quarry in western Scotland is the Olympics for one dreamer from Kentucky.
Yeah, I was just crowned the world stone skimming champion.
Stone skimming or stone skipping?
Stone skimming.
Yes, there is a world stone skimming competition, and an American, John Jennings, threw a cumulative 580 plus feet to win it all.
You know, you hit that back wall and you just hear the crowd just erupt in the roar, and everybody's so excited.
Competitors have to throw a specific type of slate rock. No tampering, no altering, but earlier this month, scandal. John Jennings says he spotted something suspect when he looked at the guy next to him.
His stones looked a little perfect, and I made a comment. I said, "Oh, is that what you're throwing?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah."
The World Stone Skimming Championship posted, "It is with great regret that we announce that we have become aware of doctored stones being used by several competitors."
Because, you know, these guys didn't have to admit to it.
But they did, even though the evidence, the rocks that were a little too perfect, were at the bottom of the quarry.
They got bigger pieces of slate and machined them down.
Organizers disqualified the cheaters, so only they who are without sin can skim the next stone.
We introduce you now to a group of dads who travel around Northern California together, fueled by a shared obsession and a commitment to perfectionism. Here's Itai Hod to show us what these men are looking for.
Once a month, a bus full of dads makes its way through the winding country roads of Northern California, driven by a single obsession.
Gentlemen, get your jackets. We're starting to walk up there.
Finding the perfect burger.
3 6/8.
Yair Levine is one of the founders of the Marin Burger Club, a group that bills itself as the most data-driven burger association in the world.
More than anything, it's a silly topic that we take very, very seriously.
Their house, Dylan Burger.
This time, they're at Coastal Kitchen, a restaurant an hour north of San Francisco, where Chef Zachary Yegas is serving up his famous quarter pounder.
We have sauteed mushroom onion with garlic, crispy bacon on top.
In the last 12 years, they've tasted more than 1,500 burgers. But tonight, they're out to break the world record for the biggest burger evaluation in history. 54 dads measuring everything from the patty to the fries using a patented tool they call the Burger Majigger.
What I like to do is kind of squeeze that.
Jason Vanderbrand, tech exec by day, burger judge by night, says this club isn't so much about the beef as it is about the bonding.
More than anything, we now know each other as a community, as a bunch of dads that are raising our children together.
Once everything's been tasted,
this is an exceptional burger,
and measured, Jeff Milan, the club's chief technology officer, crunches the numbers. A final score.
New top 10, 9th place!
And after all is said and done,
hot buns and fresh meat.
The only thing they take to go can't be boxed or bagged. It's the friendships they relish.
Fries.
Itai Hod, CBS News, Dillon Beach, California.
Eat the patty just as fast as you can.
Coming up, we remember Gayle Noble, a Southern California woman who lived up to her name.
You said to me, perhaps one of the biggest takeaways from this story is what you got out of it.
Through learning how to love her, through learning who she is and just accepting her for who she is, so many people have been able to do the same. Not only do I feel a huge sense of peace and growth, but there are hundreds of thousands of people across the world that are feeling that too.
She taught me how to be patient, how to love, and always giving.
Gayle Noble of Oceanside, California, led a noble life indeed. Acts of kindness were the norm in her community. David Begnaud introduced us to Gayle last year. but she died back in June. As David shows us, her legacy of kindness, though, lives on.
Gayle Noble was not famous, but she was unforgettable.
Thank you so much there. Oh my God, Gail, give some love.
Because her kindness was.
Gail was just a special, very special person.
Gail died in June, and on what would have been her 79th birthday, her daughter, Nissa Noble, threw a party instead of a funeral.
Happy birthday, Gail!
And on the menu,
bacon, more bacon.
And a lineup of her favorite treats, just as Gail would have wanted it. The room looked like a science fair. There were poster boards charting Gail's life, from girl to mother and wife. Not to mention the scientist who held patents.
D's, F's, B's, a few A's. What I love about Gail is that she didn't pretend to be perfect.
There was a woman who carried a laptop through the party live streaming so that Gail's fans watching in Dubai and Australia and India could be there too. But people didn't come for her inventions. And look, there were some impressive ones. They came because Gail was best known for her random acts of, as Nissa calls it, aggressive kindness.
You will get things. She will not take no for an answer. She's going to give you more than you asked for. All of you. And it's gonna be her way. This is what I mean by the aggressive kindness. Like, she just can't help it. She just wants to give.
Back in 2024, I spent the day with Gail in Oceanside, California.
What I get out of it is the joy of knowing that I've added some spark into each one of them.
I love that, Gail.
That's the best part.
Isn't that the best feeling?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
For the last 7 years of her life, nearly every single week, Gail would make the rounds at Trader Joe's and the post office and UPS, like clockwork.
Thank you, Gail.
She always greets us, says hi. She'll tell us, you guys have to have such a hard job. I know what you're going through. I've done it before. And here's some muffins to get you through the day.
And the people she surprised for years surprised everyone by showing up to say goodbye.
I know Gail from Trader Joe's. She would come in shopping, sprinkle her goodies around.
I'll say she almost got us in trouble when she first started doing this, because we're not supposed to accept gratuities or cookies. And she would sometimes literally throw them in our direction and say, all right, we'll see you tomorrow. And she did that every day.
Her kindness even reached strangers like Sherry, who only met Gail through our story on CBS Mornings.
I first heard about Gail when I saw CBS Mornings, and I was just so taken with it. I go, oh my God, and I saw the whole story. And it would just touch me because I was close to my mom, and I thought, this is great. You don't see feel-good kind of stories like this.
Nissa is the one who built her mom a home online. It was a community she called Planet Gail.
My mom, Gail, was too much. Too fierce, too smart, too weird, too honest, too full of heart. So I built her a place here on the internet where being too much is the whole point.
That social media account drew hundreds of thousands of followers. People who said Gail made them feel less alone and more themselves.
I even put on one of the posts, it's on my bucket list to meet you in person one day. So
Oh,
it just
you almost
breaks
did?
my heart that I didn't get to meet her in person. So she was an inspiration. She really was.
You said to me, perhaps one of the biggest takeaways from this story is what you got out of it.
Through learning how to love her, through learning who she is and just accepting her for who she is, so many people have been able to do the same. Not only do I feel a huge sense of peace and growth, but there are hundreds of thousands of people across the world that are feeling that too.
She taught me how to be patient, how to love, and always giving.
One of Gail's last outings was to the hospital. And even there, despite the pain she was in, she just couldn't help herself.
What is this?
A treat.
Oh, thank you.
How are you feeling today?
Yucky.
You felt good enough to give people cookies today.
Yep. I like to do that. They deserve a treat. Most people don't understand what these poor folks go through.
The relationship wasn't always easy, but caregiving and Gayle's Alzheimer's diagnosis brought them closer.
I feel that she got really lucky with the way that the disease manifested for her, because she became much more childlike. As she disappeared more, in some ways I felt like I got to see her soul more. I got to see her heart.
Okay, Mom, I love you.
I love you.
Very much.
Very, very much.
And that, my friends, is the lesson we can all take from Gayle Noble. To love people who are hard to love. To live with kindness. And to, at the end of the day, just be ourselves.
That's our show. I hope it brightened your day. I hope it lifted you up. If for some reason it didn't, go ahead and press play again. Those reruns completely free. The next one might work. Meantime, I'm going to find some good news. See you next time.